All right, and cut the music. Cool. So I'm here. This is a rare time for me to be on here, but um, we had a little time this afternoon, and I thought I would show some of the stuff that I figured out since yesterday. Made a bunch of progress on the stuff we've been working on. If you recall, we're building an Alexa Dev Tips skill, where the skill is meant to help Alexa developers be able to interact and understand how some of the features and the functionality and the data that they need to be able to build skills can easily get in their hands just by using the device that might be sitting on their desk. So that's what I'm building right now. That's the thing that I've been playing with, and we're just going to get right into it. So there's a few exciting things that I've been able to unlock. The first one is we have been struggling with figuring out remote debugging. I've tried going through some solutions that involved ngrok and Servio and a bunch of other services, and just have not had the success that I'd hoped for. Things were being blocked. We just weren't having consistent luck, and I decided on a whim to just go give Bespoken a try. Bespoken makes a set of tools for Alexa and Google Voice. Not
Sorry,
Google
I
Voice.
don't know that.
For Alexa and Google Assistant that provide testing and debugging tools, all sorts of stuff like that. But one of the things they offer is local debugging. And so, in doing so, I was able to take their tools and get that stuff working and get it up and running. And now, and let's just see if we can do a quick demo of this. If I come into here, let me show you how this works. So I'm going to go to this view. This is my code running here. Well, not running, but this is my code, and you can see that if I come to my debug panel, I can run this program. What? What? Oh, it's already running. Never mind. Let me stop it and start it so I can show you how this works. So I'll go to the debug console and I'm going to hit start to run this, and you can see that it fires everything up, and it gives me a URL that is my endpoint, so I can use that to get in. And then the thing that I have to do on my skill is I have to go in and update the endpoint here. I'm not going to do that now because it's already updated, but I have to update the endpoint here, and this then, when I type something into this box, and I can show you how this works. Let's come into my launch request handler, and I'll just set a breakpoint right there. Let's just say open Chewbacca Cup, which is the temporary invocation name we're using. And you can see that over here we've hit our breakpoint, and I can see what's going on. So if I want to step through this a little bit, come on. Or I guess I stepped over. As we go through each one of these, you can see that it's checking each one of these handlers as we go through, and it's going to hit the request log first, then it goes through this, and then something that I don't recognize. So we'll just let it continue out. Now I'm going to get an error over here because I didn't respond in time.
Did not provide a valid response.
The engine is still expecting that it's going to work quickly and it's going to respond in the normal amount of time. Thank you to Trinity for a sip here. But if we do it faster, if I just let it go, come over here, you can see that I've...
Hello. What should we do now?
Is there any way to up that timeout? No, I don't. This is a built-in Alexa thing. I don't think that there's a way to tweak the timeout on that. If my skill doesn't respond, I'm just stuck with that. So BCXML, that's a good question, but no, I don't think that there's a way to up that timing. But I can just run it again each time that I need to, and it's no pain. But you can see that I'm actually now talking directly to the code that's running here locally on my machine. We don't need this loader file. But let me close off that breakpoint too. So that was one thing that we kind of figured out between yesterday and today is how do I get that remote debugging working? And the way to do that is I want to make sure I can show this on screen. So let me flip over and look at this really quick just to make sure. No, I cannot show this on screen. So this has all of my API keys in it because the launch file that I'm using is including an env, so the environment variables that I use, like my Airtable API key and a number of other things. So I've dropped those. I'm not using those. Well, they work fine when they're running in Lambda. They're still there. They still work. All of that stuff is fine. But when I'm here locally developing and now debugging, I needed those values here as well. So it's in my launch.json file, which I can show you where it is. You can see I have a VS Code folder here. And inside the VS Code folder, I have a launch.json, which I'm not going to open on screen. Okay, so what we can see as these requests come in is this big chunk of text here this is my request envelope. This is the thing that Alexa sent to my code. So I can see all of this here if I want to. But it's a big chunk, especially because those unique identifier strings are so long. And BCXML, drop it in the chat if you have a link to an article you wrote. I think that would be really useful. But then I also have these simple comments that come through that let me know what file I'm hitting and how I'm going through this. So we get our user record, we hit the launch request, we call get random speech a couple of times, and then we get some speech back to the user. So now we can say something like, what are my temp units? And she says,
You are probably using the Alexa simulator on the developer console. It doesn't support this feature. Try this on a device instead. What would you like to try?
So that was one that doesn't work. I had to write this error message because I found out that the simulator doesn't support telling you what the user's temperature unit's in, but it does do time zone. What is my time zone?
Your device is using the America/New York time zone. What should we do now?
And so we can continue this on and on. There's a few new features that I've added to this as well, and I'm very passionate about the fact that this skill should be able to do everything. So if you wanna set a notification and see what that process looks like, if you want to buy something, you want to see what the buy and sell process is, we'll have ISPs, we'll have notifications, we'll have the full gamut of things, but it's all done as a demo, right? So for the purchasing, I think you'll still have to buy it. I don't know another way for you to go about faking that process. But if you I guess if you really need to see it, you can spend the 70 cents or whatever it might be to buy the thing. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at with the skill right now, is that now I have this dev console that's pointing directly to my local machine. BCXML has provided a good article as well. I haven't opened it, BC, obviously, but what are you using as your runner? Are you using, or I guess more appropriately, what, like your internet routing? Or are you using ngrok? Are you using Servio? What is the service behind your solution? Because I found the Bespoken stuff is the only one that seems to work on my corporate machine. I think that ngrok and Servio are both getting broken. Bespoken, there you go. So that is how BCXML is doing it. Now this is a weird time. We're not having obviously the normal kinds of interactions we have on this channel, only because this is a time that most people don't expect me to be here. I generally broadcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time. And here we are, 3 o'clock on a Thursday. So I hope that we'll have some people show up, but I really just wanted to get some more work done. And I thought, what better way to do that than to do it on stream? So that's why we're here all together right now. Okay, so let's talk about the things. TradeLast just got a ping for the stream. Awesome. Welcome to the show. So I'm glad you had some time to jump over here and join us. Gold Zulu's here. Oh my gosh, the whole crew's here. This is great. I could look at this thing, and I think this is supposed to give me a view of who's here, but I don't think it's doing a very good job of that. I don't think is there a way for me to refresh that view? I don't think there is. What if I close it and open it? Does that do anything? Oh, it does. There we go. That's a little better. I don't see Gold Zulu here, but I would expect him to be. His bot is here. Okay, so that is the thing. So I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm glad you got to see how this local debugging is working. And I'm able to see my response builder, and all this stuff shows up right here. So it's working very, very nicely. I'm happy to say that we can move much faster now. So just this morning, I was able to add. Yesterday we added we were looking at getting the user's email address, and we'd only started working on it. I don't recall. I think we did get Alexa to respond with the email address once we had the permissions and everything. But since then, in just like an hour this morning, I was able to build out the rest of those API calls. So you can see now that I have get device address, get distance units. This is, does the user use metric or imperial? The email address, the mobile phone number, the user's name, what their temperature units are, so is it Celsius or Fahrenheit, and what time zone they're in. So all of this stuff is built and ready to go, and it's working. So like I can ask the skill any of this stuff. If I come back and look here, this is another thing that I can't figure out how to set up. So maybe one of you knows the answers to this. What is my address?
Your complete device address is address line 1, null. Address line 2, null. Address line 3, null. City, null. State or district, undefined. District or county, null. Country code, US. Postal code, 20,146. What should we do now?
2146. Where is that? Ashburn, Virginia. That's interesting. I wonder if that's a VPN thing. I don't know how it's figuring that out, but it's I'm not certain about how that works, because I don't know how to define the properties for this device. There's nowhere I can go in and say like, oh, this device is using this thing. Maybe it's where US East is. I don't know, but this device address is meant to be, if I go look at this, for every device that you have a device location. And in that device, you get to hard code this value. This is not based on any location, geo, anything. But it seems to me, Goldzulu, I totally agree. It works perfectly on a regular device. But my challenge to this is, why isn't the simulator one of my devices? Like if I have a developer account, then in my Alexa collection of devices, which is too large, there should be one that is like Alexa simulator or something like that. You can see I have a couple of devices in my collection here, but none of them are something that I can change to be able to set the properties for this thing. So I'll use a device just to show you. Alexa, open Chewbacca Cup.
This is Alexa Dev Tips.
I have two devices unmuted. 1 second. Alexa, open Chewbacca Cup.
Hello. What would you like to do next?
What is my address?
Your complete device address is address line 1, 8099 Danbridge Way. Address line 2, null. Address line 3, null. City, Westerville. State or district, undefined. District or county, null. Country code, US. Postal code, 43,082 to 8,042. What should we do now?
All right, so I have a little work to do on that zip code apparently. But the idea is, Alexa, stop, is that this stuff is working, right? So it works off of a device.
Next time.
It's able to pull that information from the user. It is curious that it didn't know the state I was in, and I guess that's possible that I screwed that up. But there's one thing that I want to fix, just because I heard it, and that is if I go to the get device address function, no, not here. I want to go to handler, personal info intent, and in here I have the case statement for all of these individual values. So you can see here that I have, what do I do if they want their email address? And this is the functions and formatting that I want to use for that. And then I have Urban Blaster, welcome man, thank you for being here. The progress is going really well. We're now doing local debugging, which is making a huge amount of help in getting this stuff rolling. But I have full name, I have mobile number, device address is the one we want to look at. And one of the things that I just heard was zip code was not being treated properly. So what I want to do here is I want to do I don't know if I have a say as interpret a value as part of a street address. I didn't know that existed, but let's use that too. So we're going to take this, copy that. Yeah, LJ, I love suggestions. Bring it on. So we'll take street address line 1, and right before it, we're going to drop that in there. Right after it, we're going to do a close say as, because that is address. That's pretty cool. And then the thing that I wanted, though, was like a, I guess it's just going to be a ordinal. No, not ordinal. So I just want spell out, I think. For a zip code. I want it to be like 45123. I would never want 45,961. So that's going to be digits. I think that's probably what I should do. Digits. Oh my gosh, Urban Blaster made it to 4,000. We have some fun to take care of here in a moment. So let me fix this, and then we're going to take care of you right now, Urban Blaster. Digits. Digits. And I got to do a say as after. Save that. And well, if I don't do it now, Urban Blaster, then I'll forget. So I don't want that to happen either. So we'll wrap this for all of the address ones, because I don't know where the street address may show up. And then address line 3, we'll drop it right there, and we'll do this. Say as. Okay, saved. Now what's cool about this is I can just come right back and say, what is my address, right? No loading, no debugging, anything like that.
Your complete device address is address line 1, null.
That's great. That's great.
Address line 2, null.
Can't even stop
Address
the
line
noise.
3,
We're going to
null.
refresh the page. Alexa, open Chewbacca Cup.
This is Alexa Dev Tips. What should we do now?
What is my address?
Your complete device address is address line 1, 8099 Danbridge Way. Address line 2, null. Address line 3, null. City, Westerville. State or district, undefined. District or county, null. Country code, U.S. Postal code, 43,082 8042. What would you like to know?
Well, that didn't seem to do
See
what
you
I
next
expected.
time.
That didn't do what I expected, which is get device address. And in here, state or district was undefined. That's something I might want to look at too. Yeah, I probably should skip the nulls, but that just becomes a much larger bit of functionality. But we can do it. It's just more code. If I take this, what does she do in this in the voice and tone?
43,082 8042. Four three oh 8042.
Yeah, that's the winner. I would think the digits, I mean, it said right here. Digits. Spell each digit separately. I don't know. I don't know why that didn't work. But spell out is just fine, so now I gotta fix that. Spell out. Seems like digits should work, though. That's pretty odd. I think that was the only one that needed that. Okay, so we'll worry about nulls and stuff like that for now. In fact, I'll take that note. TODO. Don't talk about values that are null. Should be state or region. You're totally right. State or region. That was me getting confused by doing them all at once. State or region. Well, should we test it again? Since I just saved and now I can do that. Alexa, open Chewbacca Cup.
Welcome to Alexa Dev Tips.
Alexa,
what is
my address?
Your complete device address is address line 1, 8099 Danbridge Way. Address line 2, null. Address line 3, null. City, Westerville. State or region, O. District or county, null. Country code, US. Postal code, 43082-8042. What would you like to know?
So we're going to do a spell out on the state.
You just triggered Get News Intent. What would you like
Shut
to
up,
try?
Alexa. Alexa, stop. Okay.
See you next time.
We're going to do a spell out on the state. Because this could be internationalized, I don't want to just do like a U.S. state translator. I mean, I really do, but I'm not going to. So we'll just have her spell them out. Oh, because I live in Ohio, she said oh. So now she'll at least say OH. Okay. Gold Zulu, you also notice there's no build. There's no build. We're running off the raw code on my machine. So there's no build, there's no deploy, there's no anything. We're completely local. And it's awesome. Okay. So the thing that we need to do is get Urban Blaster on the wall. Let's do that. So first things first, Photoshop needs to be opened because that is my tool of choice. It does not work for model changes, Gold Zulu, and actually that is kind of an inconvenience of the model change problem. I'm not using words properly. What I'm trying to say is, in order to make model changes, I have to deploy them to using ask deploy, but that means that I deploy everything about my Lambda also, because there's no way to target anything anymore. So it automatically pushes my Lambda also, which changes my endpoint. So I guess I could probably modify my docs to make sure that I'm not that like I'm changing my endpoint permanently. But then I'm going to forget what those things are, and it's going to break because it lives in a file that's JSON, and I can't do comments, and there's 100 other reasons. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving it that way, and then when I need to test, I just go in and update it in the dev console just for the session that I'm working on. And then, yeah, CLI2, you can't target deployments anymore. You just say ask deploy. There are no targets. Gold Zulu, there is, but it's not as accurate. And I would rather just live with the real engine. Plus, then it lets me use devices. It lets me use the simulator. It lets me use a bunch of stuff. BCXML, there are benefits to the CLI2 in that it does recognize, like, oh, you didn't make any changes to your Lambda, I'm not even going to try. Or you didn't make any changes to your model, I'm not going to try. But I can't say, hey, I made changes to my model, but don't deploy them. That's not something I can do. So if you say ask deploy, it's going to push anything that's new, is basically how it works. Okay, so the thing that I don't have, the thing that I need from our good friend Urban Blaster is a URL to a headshot. The other piece of information that I need is, where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? There's a lot of good faces left. I will make a tool to be able to deploy models in CLI2, where you could only deploy the model. Man, I would pay big dollars for that. I would like tens of cents I would pay for that. But I think I could probably just update my endpoint in the skill.json file, and that probably would just solve my problem too. I just don't want to lose the actual endpoints that I want to use. So it's fine. What I imagine my workflow to be is I'm going to start. You want to be on Mega Man? All right. All I need is your picture. LJ, do you have 4,000 channel points yet? If you do have 4,000 channel points, you too can get your face on this wall. All you need to do is spend those channel points and provide to me the character that you want to be on, and a headshot that I can chop your head out of. I'll do the graphic work. Don't worry about that. I just need a picture of you that you want to have your face on this wall. You can see that we have a good number of people on here. We have Karthik and W. Giorgio. Gold Zulu is right here. I was forced to be put on the Bob Ross figure, looking like Bob Ross, so that's me. But there's a number of other characters on this wall. Jeff Nunn is up here. He took Negan from Walking Dead. We have Trade Last here on one of the Conan O'Briens. Kevin Evans, he is on... why am I forgetting his name? Shazam. Startup took this one here. This was the Twinkie. So spend those 4,000 points, and I'll get you on the wall. You're at 2.9. Okay, save them up, man. Save them, and we'll get you on the wall. But the thing I still need from Urban Blaster is an image. I'm assuming he's probably scrambling to get one right now. But there's also Porgs up here, Han Solo, and the Millennium Falcon. You get points for chatting. They also give you bonuses that you have to actually click on if you want to earn them. All of that stuff earns you points. So get on it. Okay. Oh, there's a picture I was about to give up. So let's go to my browser and go here and get me a picture. Oh, yeah, that's solid. Okay, we're going to copy that. And we're just going to... well, we'll try and paste it, and we'll see how... I don't think it's going to work very well with Mega Man, because he has such narrow shoulders. So maybe I'll just trim... I appreciate you doing the trim work for me, though. That's nice. Let's try and get your... Why aren't you trimming for me? Polygonal, that's what I wanted. Look at this epic beard he's got, too. Okay. Gone. Took your body away. Got to bring it down here to... it's gist.github.com, trade last. Oh, your head covers the whole thing. We're going to have to transform a little bit. Edit. Nope. Image. Transform. Scale. There's not a keystroke for it, which really bugs me because I use it all the time. I'm trying to keep the ear cups there for you as well. See if we can do that a little bit better. Maybe we just go a little smaller and like that. That looks pretty good. That's about as accurate as I'm getting with any of these. There you go. You are there. So now the next thing that I need to do is save this. And we need to drop this just on my downloads or whatever. Funko Wall, I think, is already in that folder. I'm apparently not right about that. And then we also want to do an export. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Why aren't you working? File, export, quick export. What are we doing? Fine. If you want to battle with me, I'll battle with you, Photoshop. Let's do it. Well, I'm not even done yet. What am I doing? You need a folder. Urban Blaster. This goes in your folder, and then these two go inside your folder also. And then this goes underneath like that. And then we change some text. Urban Blaster. And I'm gonna, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I need to know Export, quick export. Why aren't you doing that for me, Photoshop? Why is that not happening? LJ, I don't know the answer to that question. That's a good question. Can you get Alexa rewards if you work in Alexa Auto? I know they have a very specific set of... Oh, if you work for Amazon whatsoever, you can't get Amazon rewards. I see what you're asking. If you mean if I actually worked on the team. No, you would no longer be eligible for those if you're receiving them now. I'm on a blacklist that prevents me from earning any of those things. When they first rolled out the program, I earned some with my Would You Rather skill, and they said, hey, you can keep the first check. I think it was like $110. And they said, but you won't be getting any more. We've added you to a list, so you are no longer eligible to receive those. I don't understand what's going on with my Photoshop, so we're just going to quit. I've saved my file. But yeah, I'm not eligible to receive any of those, it's totally fine. I'm compensated very fairly at Amazon, and I love doing this stuff. So not earning Alexa developer rewards is okay. I think it does discourage me sometimes from really investing heavily in building something awesome, but I think that's okay. So I see you on Mega Man. Where did Mega Man go? Right here. I see you right there. So that's all good. We've got our layers. Let's see if we can do this now. Export. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't work the first time. Okay. Yes, I want to replace it. Okay, and then we come over here and we go to S3. It's $100, right? Yeah, no, I totally agree it's $100, but I like my job more than I like $100. So they take good care of me, and I really like what I do. And I like the freedom that I have to do this kind of stuff, right? I mean, I don't know a lot of other people that are streaming 10, 12 hours a week on stuff they really probably would be doing anyway. So no complaints. Downloads. Funko Wall PNG. Upload. I probably could bang that down a little bit and make it not so big. I also need to set its properties. Make public. Okay. Yeah, I can still earn ISPs. ISPs are obviously tougher to get people to give money, but they're not going to give me any of basically the free money that people earn for building awesome skills. I definitely can earn ISPs because and this is the philosophy I have. I haven't heard official word on this, but the reason that I can't get developer rewards is because that means I would be taking money from somebody else, one of our customers, one of our developers, and that doesn't feel right. I'm here to encourage you guys to build cool stuff, so I shouldn't be taking some piece of that pie, because there is a pie, right? There's an amount of money that's given away every month. I don't know what that amount is. And that's for all of you to divide up depending on your success that month. However, ISPs is different. There is no pie. There's no limit to how much someone could sell or anything like that. And so, yes, I am 100% eligible for in-skill purchasing. Okay, so now I think if we come to our channel and we go to Twitch. No pie for me. That's fine. It's not even a thing I think about. Like, it's not one of those things that like I worry about and I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could get some of that. It's totally fine. I mean, my livelihood, my salary is me getting paid to build Alexa stuff, so it's okay. Okay, so if I click on our happy little wall, what I should see, I didn't do that, or maybe the permissions get updated at the end. Make public. There we go, and oh, he's there, nice. All right, Urban Blaster, there you are. on the Mega Man, next to the mini Mega Man. So you're on the wall. Congratulations. There's one other thing I'd like to do when we hit this point, and that is let me come in here and go to Creator Dashboard. Baby Yoda is right there. He's not in the picture. He wasn't out when I took the picture. So that's why he's not in the photo. But I can't swap out the photo because then people may not be on the same characters. This wall changes all the time, whether or not you guys notice that. So what I want to do is I want to come into Community and choose Roles Manager. And one of the things that I want to do for people is if you made it on the wall, Urban Blaster. Did I type that right? Urban Blaster. VIP. You just made the VIP wall. So now you're also a VIP, so you get a little bling. So welcome to the club. You are now on the wall. If I have somehow forgotten someone, by the way, if you are on the wall, but I have not given you VIP status, that is an oversight completely on my part. That's not purposeful. I'm not forgetting you. But yeah, Urban Blaster, you got to send another chat message in. I want to see your bling. But you should have a little VIP next to you now. The pink diamond. So we are all done. That was super cool. I'm glad we got to do that here today. And you're awesome. There you go, VIP status. Okay, so back to writing some code. So we got this all working. We have an Alexa simulator that's pointing to my local code. We've got all these profile things, and I think I've got all of them at this point. State code translation. No, I did not see that message. This ill-voted COVID skill for converting state abbreviations to states. Awesome. Oh, very nice. So the reason that I'm not doing this is because I'd have to build one of these for every country. And I think that could become a lot. This is super cool, and I'm glad that you built this. But I don't think that... I mean, right now I'm only NUS. That's the only region I'm supporting. But I think I just want to say OH. It's actually unfortunate that they only give me the abbreviation. But what if this was Germany or France or whatever? In those cases, I'd have to know all the state abbreviations for those, and then I'd also have to compare it to what country they're in to be able to do that stuff. So yeah, this Alexa dev tip skill will be rolled out to all regions, especially, well, I should say it'll be rolled out to all the English regions as quickly as I can. Excuse me. For the other regions, I'm going to work with my colleagues that speak those languages to translate all of my strings. So this is one of the reasons why, if you look at my database of speech, you can see that I have this locale tagged on all of these things. So when I want, startup just got here, so a good example is if I want somebody to be able to use this skill in the Indian Hindi locale, then what I would have to do is say hi.in, and then I would type some Hindi here, and then Alexa would use this in that specific place and time, right? So all I have to do is continue to add those strings, and we're off and running. It's just a matter of translating some strings. So they would take the English ones, make some Hindi ones, make some Spanish ones, make some French ones, and then we can launch. You just go through these tables, and you're done. You never have to touch the code. Yeah, you did not see me type any Hindi, trust me. Anyway, so that's the beauty of this database, is that I can just hand it off to someone and they can go translate strings or do whatever it is that they want to do with that stuff. But I'm starting to run into a bunch of niche things, like the simulator is not supported, right? So this is a good example of a really niche case that I might only have one or two statements for. I like to still mix it up a little bit, but I probably won't have a lot of these. But things like Action Query has 4 right now. Welcome has 4 different ones. There'll probably be 10 or 12 before we're all said and done. Goodbye, I have some skills where goodbye has 100 different entries, right? So if I have 100 entries for English, I would love to have that many for the other languages as well. Maybe I could have you guys help me with this translation effort. That's really what'll keep me from getting to the other international languages with this skill. But for the English ones, Australia, the UK, everywhere else that English is supported, yeah, this will be an easy push. This an easy thing to do, and we'll do that on day one for sure. Okay, so that was the thing I wanted to show you here, is that one of the things that I'm doing is so let's look at mobile number, right? This is a good use case. If your mobile number, so I'm calling out, I have a custom function that goes and calls the Alexa APIs to look up your mobile phone number. If I got a number back, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some random speech and say something like get profile mobile number. So I'll say your country code is this, your mobile number is this, and then I also tell you like where you can set it. You can set or change your phone number in these places. But I have two examples of this, and we talked about this yesterday. I replace country code and phone number with the values that I actually have. So here I'm doing replaces on country code and phone number where I actually pop in the real values. So that way I can write a bunch of phrases in my database and then just populate them with variables right here. Anyway, so what I want you guys to see, though, is that I'm doing something kind of creative and interesting if I don't have permission, which is to just automatically send a permissions card to the user that says, hey, by the way, this thing is broken and I don't have a way to get this. Can you please give me permission? And this automatically writes a permissions card to the user's Alexa app. So I have that where I'm only requesting the very specific permission that I want. So in this case, I only want their mobile number. In this case, I want their name. In this case, I want their email. Now, when they go to change those settings, they'll be presented with all the choices. But I've basically told them, like, hey, I need access to your email before I can do this stuff. So that's what all of this stuff does. But with time zone and, they are all looking at consent token. I agree. I've dug into a lot of this, and I think I'm going to have to use that eventually. But my stuff works. It's just that instead of using the consent token before I call the API, I'm calling the API and saying, oh, you won't let me have it? Okay, and then I'm using that as my determining factor. So I'm okay with this for right now, but I will continue to investigate that consent token and figure out how that's supposed to work. So anyway, so we have this personal information intent. If I go look at the model that I have, and I don't want to make any changes to my model right now, skill package, interaction models, NUS. So in here you can see that I have now distance units is one of my personal data things. Temperature units, time zone, email address, name. Given name is not something I'm succeeding with. I probably should give it another try, but I don't want to today. But given name is a thing where I can just get your first name. And then there's mobile number and device address. And device address is that long one that we were just listening to. So this is the slot that has been constructed specifically for thinking about those different info types. But now I want to do something else. And I've been thinking about how I can find a list of the things that I should be doing. So let's go, I think I have a good place for this, or at least until I exhaust this list. So let's go to github.com/Alexa. And in here we have the Alexa Cookbook, and I've gone to this before, you guys have probably seen this. But in here there's feature demos and there's code snippets. If I look at this feature demos list, I feel like this is a really good place for me to start, right? So I have reminders, the list API. I just did customer profile, and if I look at this, they don't do everything. This just gives me, if I go into the Lambda code, I can show you what it actually does. It only does it for name, for email, and for mobile number, but you can translate this process to any of the others. And so that is... what does revert CLI v2 update mean? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe there's a way to kick it back so you're running the v1 CLI instead. But there's, the further we go along, the more incompatibilities there are going to be. Where did you see CLI? Oh, I don't know. This is he must have made some updates to this code and then it broke something or whatever. I don't know. I see what you're saying though. So anyway, I was thinking I could use this list to do a lot of this stuff. So like device location, this is just the address stuff, I think. If we go to node index. Is this just doing the get address stuff that I just did? Yeah, get full address. So yeah, that's all that snippet does. So I've actually done a bunch of these already, I guess. If we look at dynamic location, this is one I haven't done yet. Let's take a look at how this works. So I say, what is my location? Is geo supported? So we have to do a geolocation supported call. And if it's supported, Gold Zulu, we're going to do notifications. We're going to do everything in this list for sure. I want the skill to be able to do all the things. Yep, the geolocation is really the only place it works right now, unfortunately, is the Echo Auto, I think. I don't think there's another device that supports it natively. But that is what geolocation is. Let's just do this one. Oh, so first thing is, I think we should just add that to our slot. I've already gone past it. So I think we'll just change out this one that I had, which was given name, and we'll swap it for geolocation. Geolocation. And this will be GPS coordinates and latitude and longitude coordinate. And what did we, there was some other thing like live location. What did they call that a moment ago? Dynamic location. So I'll use that term too. Dynamic location. Could probably just do location too. Thank you. You guys are the best pair programmers I've ever met. Thank you, TradeLast. Okay, so I have geolocation there. Now, this is one of those things where I'm running into that weird wall where do I really want to update this? Because then I'll have to go change my endpoint again, and I'll have to wait for the full deploy. I don't want to do that. But this thing was called given name. So what I'll do is I'll just fake it for right now, and then we can worry about that in the meantime. So we're going to have a new one of these that is get geolocation. So we'll use one of the ones that required permissions like get email. And I'll save this as, come on, save as get geo coordinates .js. This is where modularizing things has made things a lot easier. Get geo coordinates and down here. Now let's look at that sample and see what they've got in there. So they have to check to see if location exists. So we're going to build a helper function for that. So we'll just take this. So let's build our helper function first. So that's going to go in helper. Is product is entitled. I really need to organize this better. I'll just put it at the end for right now. Function is geolocation supported. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Gold Zulu. We're gonna fly here. Handler input, and then this is where we're just gonna return handler input dot request envelope dot context dot system dot device dot supported interfaces dot geolocation. I think that's all I need to do. I need to not use braces, but instead brackets would be good. Okay, so we'll get the whole API mapped out, and then I need to take is geolocation supported and add that down here somewhere, is, comma. Okay, so the helper function is built. That's our first stop. So now we can say, what is it? What does that return? What is that? Is that a true false? Request envelope. Do you guys know? Is it a true false value? I don't actually know. Well, here, let's just take this. Yeah, I can do breakpoints, Gold Zulu, for sure. I guess that might be a way to go. So let's just try this, and we'll set a thing right there. So get geo coordinates. I need to build out the rest of this structure. So let's do that so that we can actually call in here. So I got to go to my index, and we got to get geo coordinates, which will go right here. And then we need a require for that. Okay, and then we need to go into the personal info intent, and we need to add one for geo coordinates. And this one we're going to call given name because I haven't updated the model, so we'll just say given name is the thing we're going to say. Your geo coordinates are, and this needs to be get geo coordinates. This will be, because I like to be able to write hard words like geo coordinates over and over again. Copy time zone. I don't think I need to even do that. We can just take all of this away. Don't need that parentheses. Don't need time zone. Okay. And then otherwise I don't have access to your geo coordinates. Is this a permissions thing? Here we go. Boom. This is why I build functions for this stuff. So now we can do, I'm just going to drop this right here for a second. We're going to come up and grab this thing. Await Airtable, get random speech. No, not the simulator. I want this one. Send permissions card. I just have my own helper function to do that. And I will do that here. And then the permissions that I want to ask for are geolocation. Beautiful. Okay, and then this can go away. And so I want to say what do we call that? What's the message we're sending to people for this? We're going to receive all of that? Oh my gosh. Look at all that stuff. Let's just take this. We're going to need this. Okay, so that'll be fun to play with in a minute. But what I wanted to see is what do we say to the user location disable. Oh, they had this as an external file. I was trying to figure out where their speech was. Localization is here. So I want to say things like unsupported device, permission card, to turn on location sharing. Is that what I want to say? Location sharing. So your what do I even say here? When I say send permissions card, what are the words that I'm using? Oh, that's in the database. So if we go here, no permission. I don't have permission to access your geolocation. I'm just going to say geolocation. That works for my speech. I don't have access to your geolocation. Okay, so that's enough of a structure that this will get called and work now. So now we should be able to come in here to this and just say open the skill. That should run right through.
Welcome to Alexa Dev Tips. What would you like to know?
Okay, and then we want to go in and set a breakpoint this time. So here we don't know what that's going to be called. I set my breakpoint, so I should be able to say what is my given name.
Your geocoordinates are Amazon at jeffblankenburg.com. What would you like to know?
Oh, why didn't you hit the breakpoint? That's what I'd like to know. Try that again. What is my given name? There we go. And so now I can look at handler input, and I can see attributes manager. I don't want that stuff. I want the request envelope, context, not the request, system.
The requested skill did not provide a valid response.
Oh, I know. I know it did not. It is context system device supported interfaces. Context. Request envelope. Context. System. Device. Supported interfaces. Only APL is in there. So we would not have gotten the thing. We would have failed. Yeah, the breakpoints are rocking, aren't they? This is super awesome. So I don't have the permission set for it, which could also be the issue, but the first thing that I need to do is be using my helper function that I built. So let's do const helper equals helper. And then what I want to do here, and this is where I was curious if it was true or false, but I think it's not true or false, but it's going to be exists or doesn't exist, which works out to be the same for Boolean. Yes, I agree. Yeah, I can go into the debug panel and set things. I want to do this one, which is helper.get geocoordinates. Handler input. Okay, so if that's true, then we support it. There's no reason for us to even do any of this stuff if their device doesn't support it, right? So if it supports it, then we're going to do this stuff. Else, what do I want to return here? This is going to go away. This becomes client dot. Let's not get geocoordinates. What was the sample we saw here a second ago? Do I have another browser open somewhere? No. Where's the GitHub I was looking at? Ah, here we go. Okay. So no, I'm not. That was why I was checking this, because it didn't seem right. So in here it is. Skill permission granted. Well, this is interesting. Look at this. If context.user.permission.scopes equals granted, that seems more Gold Zulu like how I might be able to do this. But what I really wanted to do was just make the call. But it looks like we have a bunch of weird issues that we can run into here. Like, is it enabled? Is it running? But somewhere in here, there's just the... Where do I get the geo object? Context.geolocation. Is it that that's automatically provided if it's supported? Like if I come into my mobile app, somebody said the mobile app provides it. I didn't think it did, but let me check here. Open Chewbacca Cup.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Really? Well, with it looking like that, I can understand it. So you're saying that the geocoordinate data is just there? I don't even have to make an API call? I also noticed that that didn't... Open Chewbacca Cup.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Why do you say that? What if I just get rid of all this code? Just take all of this and go like that. This else is weird. What if I do that? How do you feel about that? Open Chewbacca Cup.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
It's very weird that I'm getting an error like that. Yeah, that sounds right. A smart home or an in-car navigation system. Is my skill not working, or am I just doing something odd?
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
I have straight up broken something. Oh, I know what I did. I ended my debug session somehow. If that's not running, it can't hit the endpoint. I think that's the issue. Let's try that again. Open Chewbacca Cup. Yeah, that was it.
What would you like to know?
What is my given name?
Jeff, you broke something. What would you like to try?
Helper.get geocoordinates. Well, that makes sense because that's not what this should be called. This should be called...
You just triggered get news intent. What would you like
this.
to try? What would you like to try?
What is my given name?
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
It makes sense that that wouldn't work because I'm not sending anything back. So the error is geolocation.red must be declared as a permission. I think I don't have this set. So let's go look at that really quickly in my console. Actually, we can check it here. If we go look at this. Skill.json. I just don't have that in here. So Alexa devices all geolocation read. Copy. Paste. Nope. Don't do whatever that is. Just paste. Nope. Did I not copy this? Sounds like I'm copying it. Okay. So I have that in there. I'm going to have to publish this. I guess I could also just do it here just so I've got it. So I want permissions down here at the very bottom. I thought I had checked all the boxes, but maybe I didn't. I'd like notifications to be on. Thank you. Location services right there. Zyags, thank you, man, for being here. Skills personalization. Yeah, let's do it. Note, I don't know what those are. Let's do them. Let's turn them all on. They won't all be on once I publish, but this allows me... Oh, apparently I can't use those right now. Fine, I didn't want to do it anyway. Okay. So our permissions are set. We haven't set them for the user themselves, but we should be able to open the skill.
Hello. What would you like to try?
And say, what is my given name?
I don't have permission to access your geolocation. Please check the card I've added to the activities section of your Alexa app to grant me permission.
Okay, so what that did is it came in here and it said, oh, I wasn't able to get anything, so I'm going to return this and ask for your permission. So let's go here, go to skills, choose your skills, and in here there's a dev skills, I think. Dev skills. I have a couple of these, but the one we're looking at is called Alexa Dev Tips? There it is. Okay, so in here, we're going to go to our settings, and we have all of these things that the skill wants to do. We're going to manage the permissions for that. Sign me in. And grant geolocation so that we can at least hit those cases. So the device, I don't care about any of that. I care about location services. Save. What are you talking about? Okay, location services looks lit up to me. So now if I say, what is my given name?
I don't have permission to access your geolocation. Please
That's because
check
I'm
the
not
card
returning
I've added
anything.
to the activities section of your Alexa app to grant me permission. What would you like to know?
But what I want to see is the geolocation data. Look at this scopes. Payments, auto pay consent, devices, denied. It's not all of them though. It's just a couple. Let's take this down. Isn't there a way, I think someone probably knows the answer, to get this to format nicely? Like I want it to spread all out. I don't know how to do that. There we go. Okay, so we can see there's scopes for auto pay consent and geolocation read, which seems to be denied, which seems odd to me. No, I know it's untitled, and that's fine. I can designate what type of document it is here. I was just trying to figure out how to get it to take it all from one line and kick it into this view. Device ID, supported interfaces. API. Why don't I see anything about Geo? My user account now says location services are fine. And in here, if I say, what is my given name?
I don't have permission to access your geolocation. Please check the card I've added to the activities section of your Alexa app to grant me permission. What would you like to do next?
And status denied. Let me try it from my phone. It's down here in the bottom where it says JSON right here. I can just choose this and tell it, oh, it's one of these files, and it'll... Let's try this again, but from my phone. Because the phone should have the geolocation stuff, right? Open Chewbacca Cup.
Hello, what would you like to try? What would you like to try?
What is my given name?
I don't have permission to access your geolocation. Please check the card I've added to the activities section of your Alexa app to grant me permission. What would you like to do next?
I feel like I really need to try this from my Echo Auto and see if it works there.
You just triggered Get News Intent.
Alexa, stop.
What should we do now?
Stop. I feel like there's a thing that... I don't know if I know how to get that data. Yeah, we could just launch the whole streaming thing. My launch debugger. You want me to set the output? I don't know where I do that though, Gold Zulu. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, so it gives me that nice view, but debugger.js, I don't have a debugger.js. You talking about the local debugger file? Because that's not what I'm using here. I don't think I'm using local debugger at all. In fact, I think I'm just using the bespoken stuff. It's not that big a deal. I'm not gonna worry about it. Oh boy. Awesome. So glad I just did that. So this is this is interesting. I don't seem to have an effective way to even test whether or not I have geolocation. I didn't think that the app did it, because if the app did it, then the Echo Buds would do it, and they don't do it. The frames and the loop would do it because they go through the app. They don't do it. I feel like my hands are a little tied on this one right now. I just don't know. Like, I've granted the permission. The permission is different than... the device supporting it. I have an Echo Auto. I have one in my car. I would just have to go try it. And I wasn't going to be on here too long today. Yes, I believe it is only Echo Auto. I don't even know that the mobile app does it. I can't confidently say that the mobile app does it. BCXML. I would have to look into that. Well, this isn't working for now. Use the Twitch streaming app on mobile to stream. Oh yeah, to take it out to my car. No, that's all right. I'm not going to do that today. Maybe we'll do that another time though. Let's take a look here. If I go back to the cookbook, feature demos, geolocation was a thing I wanted to try, and we'll get it figured out for sure. But I think we'll take a pause on that for right now because I really need to update some things also. What else could we bite off? I don't know if I have time to really finish anything else today. How complicated are timers? I've never done timers before. So this is some JSON that looks like that I'm going to send back. Different kinds of timers. I'll have to check permissions for that. Yeah, so my goal is to implement all these features, the ones that are in this list, but then there's lots of other stuff that I want to do too, right? You're not going to see an item in this list for like speech cons, but the skill already supports speech cons. Entity resolution is pretty cool to be able to do, but the skill's already doing it, so I would need some way to expose to you like how that works. Let's see what TradeLast just posted with the oops. Enable location services permissions. I did that. Test your skill. The Alexa simulator does not support testing. That's not a surprise. It doesn't support a bunch of stuff. Be nice if they told me what did support it. Maybe it's that my mobile app has device location sharing turned off. Let's see if maybe that's the issue. So if I go to the app itself, Amazon Alexa, location's on. It's not that. So I've run out of potential excuses, but it actually looks like this is a lot more complex than I initially thought. Because I'm checking to see if it's supported. And then I can get this geolocation object. But they were doing a bunch of other stuff too. This grid here. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to easily figure this one out, but we will. We'll get it. Yep. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of cases like this grid shows where the skill can receive the location, Amazon can receive it, the skill location access exists. Yeah, I got a lot to figure out there. All right, well, I was just hoping to jump on this afternoon. I was very excited to try out local debugging with all of you guys, and you can see it's working fantastically. We were able to make a bunch of progress without having to deploy. But I think what I'm going to do is stop my debugging, go to terminal, throw down an ask deploy, and I'm going to, Gold Zulu, you're funny. I'm going to push all those changes that we just made up to the live server. And one of the things that I'm very curious to try, we're actually going to wait this out. We're going to let this go, and we're going wait this out, is when this gets flipped over. So it's pushing all of my code out to my actual Lambda function on AWS. It's pushing my model up to the dev portal. I have like configuration files and things set up here now locally. And I'm very curious to know is if when I push this live, does it work? Like, do I actually have a production environment that is running and working, or did I make enough changes that everything is actually going to be broken when I try this skill in production? So that will be something interesting to see here. We're gonna wait for all this to get deployed. I would imagine the model will be fine. There's no dev environment around that. But as far as the node stuff goes, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. Yeah, I could definitely start a beta program and invite you guys if you want to do that. Maybe next week we could get that figured out because I've got to put like metadata and stuff together. The skill's building. That's a good sign. So it's putting all the pieces together. We just have to wait for that giant zip file now to be deployed. Local debugger, I can do that while we wait here. Local debugger. But I don't think I'm using this. I think that's the issue I'm having, is that lines 62 to 66. No, I think the way that it's set up, it's using the bespoken tools instead. I think I could delete this file and everything would work just fine. Okay, we're done. So, moment of truth. Let's do a quit.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
That's not a good sign.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Yikes. Okay, so this is a good test. Let's see what we broke. There you are. 417, that was just now. Cannot find module get geo coordinates. Why didn't it break locally if you can't find it? I mean, the file definitely exists. Normally, yes, but I just deployed everything again, and it overwrites my endpoint back to the production one. So the next time that I start debugging, I'll have to go in and fix that again. Yes, BCXML, you are absolutely correct. Except that there isn't. It's not about an error. It's that it's not finding it. The error said I could not find module. Well, the place that we're doing that is, if we go to profile, we go to index, get geo coordinates. I wonder if it's because it's just not returning anything. Return undefined. Do you like it now? If I go back to that index file? No. No, it doesn't need to be async, I suppose, but I don't know that that matters a whole lot for what I'm trying to figure out here. Well, that seems to have fixed it, because now that's working. I wouldn't think that the async had anything to do with it, but it seemed to be fine with that. So this is the old world we used to live in. Now I have to redeploy. Just to see if this is the issue it was. Declaration or statement expected. Those don't seem accurate. That all looks right. I don't see anything that is the problem with that file. Let me close that. Can I clear this? Get geo coordinates. I think whatever those were, they have been fixed. No, that all looks fine. I just realized that I killed my ask deploy though. Who knows what state that was in. I'm just wondering if, like, that was just a bug or issue. I'm not sure exactly what the issue was there, why that wasn't working. But when we push the code up this time, like, I just want to make sure that when I push to production, my environment works, that everything is there, and stop it. That everything is there and working. So that, because I know if I write more code, I'm not going to break anything. I just want to make sure the dev environment stuff isn't breaking. Man, we've had thunderstorms here all day. I just keep getting updates from the weather service about more thunderstorms and more thunderstorms. Okay, so we're deploying. This is how I think each time that I stream is going to end. Hopefully it will just be one quick push and we're done, and then everything is living in that environment. So we have all this stuff building. It's deploying the zip file. Yeah, I've heard that the thunderstorms over that way are pretty crazy in like Singapore and stuff like that. Never lived through like what is like a monsoon style storm, and I'm thankful for that actually. I was told that I was heading to India like right at the beginning of the rainy season, but I felt fortunate that I did not get rained on while I was there. Let's go. This is not testing that I would normally do on stream. I would make sure this stuff is all set up and working so we could just say ask deploy and sign off. But sometimes it's just good to do it live with the group. I dropped some frames, huh? I'm not getting any warnings here. The streaming software that I'm using usually gives me a good indication if something's going wrong, but I don't have anything yet. But like I said, thunderstorms all day today. So it could very easily be that. A lot of the wires we have here are underground, so usually they're not affected by the storms. But the further you get from my house, the more they come out of the ground and up on poles. And it's definitely kicking right now. I can hear the boomers rolling. Yeah, this is a really long time. It's very annoying. And it's just because I haven't figured out... I think the ask deploy doesn't take into consideration dev dependencies, and so all of those are getting wrapped up and rolled in too. My actual dependencies are only 4 modules. There's not a lot there. But it's the dev dependencies. I've got like a dozen of them, and they all have huge amounts of dependencies. That's why we have 772 packages that are getting deployed here. Yeah, I need some fiber optics for sure. I wish I had fiber. They don't even offer fiber in my neighborhood. It's offered nearby, but not close enough that I can get it. I was just talking with a colleague of mine earlier today. She said she talked with a company about getting fiber laid out to her house. She lives in a rural area, and they want $180,000 to run fiber to her house. How is that even a thing? How is that even possible? Okay, we've got it. Hopefully this works this time. If it doesn't work, that's fine. We're going to stop either way. But we'll say that. Doesn't look like it's working.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
What's the issue now? Cannot find module, get coordinates. That's so strange. Did I not name it properly? It's the name of the file. That's the issue. I actually don't know how that ever worked. Okay, we're not going to wait for another deploy. That was the issue. The file had a capital C in it. I am going to let this deploy. Hopefully that will solve the problem. If not, we will definitely have it solved by tomorrow morning. We will be back here at 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow morning, and we'll keep rolling on this thing. And if we don't work on geolocation, we'll work on something cool. But thank you guys all. This was fun to do, kind of a weird Thursday afternoon. I'm trying to see about when are good windows to try and do some other stuff. And I'm never sure when the right time to stream is, but we'll definitely continue to stay on the 10 a.m. train Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So thank you guys all. I'll see you again very, very soon.